I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, and we're back with another episode of Valoris, Tantibus, Ravenshade. Session 6. This one's entitled Guntakers and Gravemakers. When last we left our party, they found out war is coming. The shot heard all throughout the city. The Primor is dead. The Merkava have started to barricade themselves in, preparing for the impending war against the clerisy. It seems the clerisy was bold enough to make the first move, using the Onrori as agents to take out such a pivotal figure within the Tantibus society. The characters, however, find themselves back at their manor. They were discussing things with the constable. Grave things. Illithids seem to be controlling the clerisy. But that's not solely what is on their minds. The constable was getting ready to tell them about his dealings, interactions, perhaps pact with the agents of the Golden Emperor. And this is where we find our characters. You guys now have the floor as the constable says, as he took off his shirt, showing the almost like the odd-like tattoos there resting on his shoulder blades.
Constable, is this going to take longer than a half hour, or are your men going to come busting down our door with your shirt off? We're going to have to answer some awkward questions.
Replying to your question, being as this is your estate, who knows who will come beckoning in the middle of the night. But
touché.
Fair.
He kind of glances around the room, looking at the wardings placed within your great library here. I think most prying eyes and ears will be well out of reach. Yes?
Should be. To the best of our knowledge.
There is an order within Tantibus. An order protected to the legacy of the Golden Emperor. I'm certain you are all familiar with the Great Arch that orbits the city.
More than familiar with it at this point.
That is a failing on my part. It is a ward that has been here for centuries. The Golden Emperor had it erected. Its true purpose, I do not know. But it is a great warding of some sort. Protection from evil. Alas.
Protection that is now gone.
It is my understanding there is a great warding in the two other great cities within Valoris. One of the three is now fallen. I think we can all see what is going on within the city. Within mere days, the city was torn into chaos. A failure on my part. I'm sure you have questions. I will answer them the best I can.
Do you know what form these other wards take?
Only in the great city of Dynast have I heard anything. They say near it lies a jewel of immense power. Immense elemental power. It is said that if one were to wield it, they would command the very elements themselves.
You? I don't know, do you know anything? Boris asks, turning to the others.
This is actually the first I've heard of it. I did not spend too much time within Dynast walls themselves.
It is a great secret spanning back generations, centuries, back to the first stage.
That just goes news to me.
I wish you to
Great.
prepare it, but I have neither the means nor the knowledge necessary. But I do know this. If the clerisy were to usurp and gain total control over the city, we won't be live long enough to be able to do anything about it.
So here's a weird question. If there was an order, what became of it? Is that where the Merkava comes from?
Yet. The Merkava, they have their duty within the city, as I had mine. A man came to me, dressed in almost regal white armor. He made a proposition. I was just starting to make a name amongst myself. He offered a great bit of power, of importance. I foolishly took it up, not knowing exactly what I resigned myself for. But he left a lasting impression as he points to his shoulder blades. A mark, a branding. I imagine other protectors, the legacy of the Golden Emperor, would have similar marks.
That's certainly a very distinct way of showing a pact.
Well, I'm not too versed in the way of pacts, but the covenant was made. Did you have any more questions?
Would this servant of the Golden Emperor, would he be the only one in the city, or would there be others?
I have seen the servant of the Golden Emperor twice in my lifetime. Once, 20 years ago. And again, a few weeks before this calamity, when Maldark was starting to gain power.
Was there anything significant about seeing him 20 years ago?
That's when he entered.
Why they chose me, I do not know. Perhaps I was a useful pawn to them. Perhaps I have something I've yet to discover, to offer. I do not know. He starts to, again, elaborate a little more on that night. It was a night very unlike this. Instead of the steady snowfall, he'll talk about the drizzling rain and him. He had just, basically, he had applied to join the Merkava, and he was just unable to pass the tests per se. And he went to a church, prayed to the local gods, the kami, and that's when he appeared. It took me by surprise, and you hear a knock, knock, knock at your door.
I'll get it.
What time of day is it?
Middle of the night, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's approaching night.
So, like duskish time?
Yeah, I mean it's late. The sun, although it shines very little during the day, has subsided. We're going into the
Okay.
witching hours.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with
Makoto?
Makoto. Just in case, I'm gonna bring my door ram.
Oh my. You guys see Boris walk over, his ram never far from his side. He kind of grabs it, starts dragging it down the hallway, following
Boris.
after Makoto.
Boris.
Yes.
Boris.
Yes.
Assuming this is a guest, that's a terrible way to greet them. I've got it.
Assuming
Assuming it's not.
it is not a guest that we want, it's a great way to greet them.
Oh my goodness. As you guys are
50 pounds of steel straight into the gut.
there kind of standing, just some playful banter back and forth, you finally open the door. And the figure you see standing before you, Azur, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, see a kind of a middle-aged man, scruffy looking but well-dressed, shoulder-length dark brown hair and a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going, human, and otherwise not too remarkable, kind of blends in with kind of a upper-class merchant look, I suppose.
All right, very good. Makoto, Boris, could you guys describe yourselves real quick?
I could, but I don't feel the need to.
That's true. Makoto,
That's
you
true,
recognize
yes.
him. Boris.
Before you next to Makoto, you see you ever see a golden eagle, kind of like golden brown feathers? He's an Arakakra, so standing just taller than Makoto, I believe.
Yeah, Makoto's pretty short.
Were you still in your armor, or had you desuited?
I've since desuited.
Okay.
So
You should have-
plain dress, but he does have a holy symbol of the church, although it seems to have been turned upside down.
Interesting.
So you have doff your armor? That is the actual term.
That is the correct term,
Really?
yes.
All right. So as you guys stand there for a few moments, Makoto and Boris just kind of sizing up this individual. A few moments hang in the air, kind of uncertain, as you guys get a lot of strange visitors to this manor at all sorts of times of the day. What do you guys do?
I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met before. What brings you here?
I'm sorry for the intrusion. My name is Anton Hardwick. I've heard that the constable is currently visiting, and I have been seeking him all day.
What makes
Boris
you think
raises
the
an eyebrow and sets down his door ram.
What makes you think the constable would be visiting civilians?
Oh, I have connections with the Merkava. It is not hard to track people down when I need to.
Really now?
Well, if the constable is in as you say, I suppose I'll go see if I can find him. You have this.
When you head back, the constable is kind of enjoying his brandy. The room is just kind of silent as you step back in.
I report that there is an Anton. I can't read the last name.
Hardwick.
Hardwick. Thank you.
Anton.
I report that there is an Anton Hardwick looking for the constable.
The constable will raise an eyebrow. Anton Hardwick. He sets his
Scruffy.
he sets his
about to get
glass down, stands up, and moves over with you, Boris, if you return. But he's making his way to the doorway.
I shall return.
he kind of eyes you. What is it?
Well, I had attempted to send word to you earlier, but it seems as though whatever is interfering with magical messages has intercepted mine to you.
Magical messages, you say? And what is this message?
It regards the incident in the Tenyo. If we could speak in private, I would much prefer it.
He glances at you, looks over at Makoto, and says, "My good sir, I am in the company of trusted friends. If you have something to say to me, you may say it amongst us all. Understood?" And he starts to kind of turn, and it's not his manner, but he is clearly kind of inviting you in.
All right, I will follow him in.
Well, if the consul's cool with it, I have no objections.
He plops back down, grabs his drink. "And what news do you bring, Anton?"
Well, it is less news and more of an offer. I believe we all here probably know now what has happened, and I would like to offer my assistance to perhaps change the story of what has happened.
An interesting proposal. Go on.
I could fill certain shoes and put out a public appearance of, let's say, someone who was gravely wounded but not quite taken care of.
That is a bold move indeed. He kind of eyes you. A master of disguise, are you?
Then kind of with a wink and a nod and kind of doing a side glance to Makoto, I'll just say, "Yes, you may remember me as Vic."
Next time, could you give some kind of tell?
If I gave a tell, it wouldn't be very good, would it?
Naz, you would recognize Vic, even though you were in Japan at the time. You have met this character. This character was one of the companions at the circus.
Oh, okay. I go, "Oh, circus buddy."
The constable kind of looks over at you. "Circus buddy?"
I cast Disguise Self on myself to try to emulate a much shorter version of what he used to look like.
Oh my god.
It's very good.
Of course. What was I thinking? I expect nothing less of you all. I will consider this proposal, but it is not mine. It's not my decision to make. I will have to run it up the chain.
I don't know if it will do much good in the long term, but certainly it will potentially buy time to keep the peace.
It seems like time is a precious commodity, one we keep running out of. I don't know. It's like every day we descend further into hell. Knock, knock, knock on the door.
Really? Someone else? Alright, I guess.
Boris picks.
I'll say Naz will take his turn to answer the door,
Oh god, no.
hoping sincerely it's a door-to-door salesman because he's getting hungry.
Oh god, no.
Robin?
Hot dog cart?
All right. Naz is spry and limber, and this will be fun. You open the door, and you see a person standing before you. But you also see through this person standing before you. They're dressed almost in like a nobility. He's got a jacket that doesn't quite exactly button all the way, and you can see the ruffles running down the center, but you can see straight to the house on the other side. And you kind of, you're short, you look down. He's not standing on anything. He's levitating.
Naz is going to go look back up at his face, and while maintaining eye contact, slowly extend his arm to poke through him.
Okay. As your hand starts to envelop this person, this creature, it starts to get a little cold there at the edges of your fingertips, and kind of starts to move up your arm a little bit. Not too high. And it's not like it's just like absolute ice cold freezer burn, but you can definitely tell the difference in temperature. It's fascinating. And he looks down at you and says, "Are you quite done?"
I answer him, I go, "I do believe so, my body handicapped friend. What can I do you for?"
"I bring a message."
"Oh, sorry, too full. Can't record any more messages right now."
"You would be best not to ignore his lordship."
"Whose lordship? I don't have a lordship. Do you have a lordship?"
And with a poof, the apparition just starts to kind of phase out. Mist starts to spread apart, and you see a small piece of almost like parchment, maybe a little bit heavier, as it just kind of wafts back and forth, landing on the step to your mansion. You instantly recognize a letter. The letter M.
I pick it up with 2 fingers and kind of hold it out at arm's length.
It is a little cold to the touch.
Kind of expecting it to explode or something.
Oh my god.
This mission, should you choose to accept it.
Exactly. Is it literally just a giant M on the front? Is it just a flat piece of parchment? Is it inside of an envelope?
It's
what are we dealing
folded.
with?
It looks like it's a folded envelope, sealed with a large letter M.
Okay, so like M in like a wax seal type, or
Yes.
okay.
Very important
I
details.
use my other hand to kind of pry up the wax seal and then shake it a couple times to have it unfurl. Still
Okay.
at arm's length.
Did you head back with the rest of everybody?
No, I'm still standing on the doorstep.
Awesome. You open it up, and you can see scarlet lettering across just a single page. It was not folded within the envelope. It seems
Okay.
like maybe a short paragraph or so.
Okay. Given how short my arms are, can I discern it from arm's length?
As you kind of looking at it, you're gonna make out some words right away.
Okay. Is it written in like a serial killer letter where it's like all different letters?
It is not. It is very fancy, like almost calligraphy. At the bottom,
it.
you see a very sprawling, with whipping lines everywhere, the letter M. But you make
Okay.
out a few things. Fallen Lord. Deal. Tonight.
I shrug and start marching in with the letter to give to the others.
Okay. Naz comes back holding a letter, just, I imagine, still at full arm's length.
Yep.
What is this, little one?
A ghost gave me something. Here you go.
You see the constable almost stand, like, just super erect. He places his hands on his weapons at his side. What do you mean, a ghost?
I stuck my hand through him, and then he asked if I was done, and then he gave me this.
Does anyone understand this gnome?
No.
No.
Christ.
I trust him enough to say that if he says that he saw a ghost, I'm going to assume it was some kind of see-through apparition.
Yes.
I'm not sure I would call it a ghost, though.
I hate to be a dick, but we all know what ghosts are.
I look at him like, what are they?
He goes back, he grabs his drink, goes back over to the wet bar. He finishes his drink, sets the glass down, grabs the bottle, and moves back to his chair.
Makoto just... Okay. Makoto leans forward, and both his hands are subtly occupied. One hand is occupied with his face. The other is on fire.
Good
Naz
God.
just shrugs and then actually goes to read the letter for real this
Yeah,
time.
as the
No longer
constable
holding-
says, would somebody read that fucking letter? Go ahead. Oh, I have to read it to you.
I was gonna say, I mean, yeah, go ahead. I agree.
And it says, in ghostly fashion, oldest acquaintances, you are formally invited. You know the place of our fallen dear lord, where the unmasking took place.
I already
Bask
don't like where this is going.
in its holy reverence. Its reverence of me. Must we be adversaries? Come, let us talk. And remember, dear old friends, M.
Well, as Naz finishes reading that letter in a weirdly ghostly accent, apparently.
That was for ambiance.
He looks at the others and goes,
the fuck up.
Go ahead.
he asks the rest, do we know a ghost lord?
Maldark.
I smell dark.
He's the only one pretentious enough in this city to go and speak like that.
Wouldn't the
I
M
did not
tip you
remember.
off as the constable grabs his temples?
No, the M obviously tipped me off, but I'm just saying, he's the only one pretentious enough to make that happen.
What did he mean, fallen lord, though? Was that him?
I'm
I
going
was like, Naz, like, I don't remember him being a lord.
Unmasking. Just strange. Why do they always speak in riddles?
Naz looks at him with a dead straight face. I think they're just crazy.
Quite.
That might be the most lucid thing you've ever fucking said, Naz.
Naz starts trying to read through it again, trying to figure out where the heck we're supposed to meet this guy to have this conversation that he obviously wants us to have.
Yeah, where the fuck was this unmasking?
I'm gonna say it's probably at his old manor.
But
I
these,
mean,
Sure.
are you saying that out loud, or?
I imagine it's his old manor, since he kind of...
I do not know. What did he mean by unholy place?
Oh, unholy.
Motherfucker.
What?
Somebody gets it. The appropriate person to get it too, because probably pisses you off.
Yep.
Well, share with the rest of the class.
There's two possible locations.
Go on.
One is the top of the archway, which doesn't make much sense, admittedly. The second is the church where we saw him last.
That would be my guess.
Which
The
which
archway isn't
church?
unholy per se.
The one that had the book in it.
In the chair that we moved the book on.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, that church did not really go with the current pantheon.
Yes, but you guys would start thinking it didn't go with the current pantheon. It was a shrine to the kami.
Exactly.
But Maldark referred to this as an unholy place. To him, the kami are sacred.
So, wait, have we?
That's a
We haven't
good-
discovered any kind of location where this machine
Fuck!
got, have we?
Oh, now he gets it.
All right, who's ready to commit some heresy?
Unmasking.
Yeah, I'm lost
What
on the
kind of
unmasking bit.
heresy?
I must have forgot something.
Makoto, make me we'll say insight. Roll in the bucket.
Okay.
Not bad. As you guys are again kind of spitballing ideas. Unmasking means something perhaps
It's
a little
not a literal
different.
thing.
Well, think of it as though you think someone is something, and then you find out that
It's
wasn't
something
their
else.
true mask. And where did that
The
happen?
clerisy.
No.
No.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking too.
You can think of one such individual. Edward Ilarion.
Motherfucker. That church.
Yes, that unmasking.
Remind me who's that again? I'm bad at this game.
So early on, you guys were hired to protect someone,
Oh, okay.
and it turned out he was the leader of the Crows,
Right.
who was working for Maldark. And you guys
We found
discovered
out
this.
at a church
Yes.
of the Tantibanian pantheon, which Maldar considers to be heathens.
You guys
Oh, do I
are
get
good
to
at this
knock down
game.
my own doors?
The constable
Ah.
kind of. He said tonight. He starts to kind of shake off maybe the alcohol a little bit. Oh, and I see a Peter Leopold connecting.
Oh.
We'll see if he actually can join us. I remember this place. If we're going to meet Maldark, it needs to be all hands on deck. And he looks over at the former Anton. I think you're now as Vic, correct?
No, I'm still, because I'm not ready
Okay.
to reveal that I'm a changeling. So I'm still.
I look like
learning.
Vic yet.
Gotcha. So he looks over at
Yes,
Anton.
that's true. There's still a mini Vic.
Mini Vic.
Azur, just asking this out of character, you did reveal to Makoto though, right? If I remember,
Yes.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the foxtail thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I called your bluff.
So the constable says, all hands on deck. And he looks over at you, Anton. That means you too.
Well, I heard someone say that we're getting ready to commit some heresy, and I'm always down for that, I suppose.
He scratches at his very sexy soul patch. Yes, quite. Let us go. Grab anything you need. You, feathery one, grab the ram.
Yes.
Get your arm on.
Yes.
Makoto just summons his sword. I've got all I need right here.
Boris runs off to get his armor.
All right.
Finally getting to use his ram.
Very good.
If you have a private room, I can change back out of this garb and into my armor.
Use my room. It's up that way.
You're like, God damn, this place is huge.
Do I have anybody following me around saying, not that room, not that room?
No, Muranaka is not here.
No, I gave you. I didn't do it like loud, but I gave you specific directions.
Okay. And I'll just obviously drop the changeling disguise.
All right.
Or at least change back into Vic, since that is a disguise as well, technically.
All right. So everybody is prepared. And oh, you are. Very good. Let me add you here.
Can people hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up?
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to your new apartment.
I'm not in my new apartment. I'm still packing
Ow.
I got you.
in my old apartment.
Are you going to be able to
Welcome to
join
your
us
old
this
apartment.
eve?
Yeah. So I'm on for the night.
Okay.
I was just
Alright.
late.
Does anybody want to recap, or I can do it?
All right. Well, here's the short version. We got a message from Meldar. Well, first Vic showed up at our door. Say hi to Vic.
Hi, Vic. I don't know who Vic is, but hi, Vic.
There's also a mini Vic in the room.
That's Naz.
Rest of the recap.
The other part is that while we were talking to the constable about this stuff, an apparition showed up with a letter that is very clearly from Meldark telling us to go to where we unmasked Edward.
To where we unmasked Edward. So, gotcha. That temple place where we
Mhm.
came out.
That is correct. Wise
Cool.
monk.
You figured it out faster than I did.
Much
I mean,
faster.
I was also the one who originally found that place.
True. And he's also a monk and very wise.
I am wise to the ways of things and finding them.
All right. So Anton and the constable will be joining you. You guys make your preparations and head over. So let's do some of this.
I'm really glad I took that short rest.
And I'm sorry, Hal, if this blows up your computer.
It does not appear to be blowing up my computer. Those stars on the ground look new.
All right. So let me start tossing some tokens here. Beep.
What? How drag room?
Middle click.
Yeah, that's how. Cool.
And am I missing anyone?
Why is Edward here
Indeed.
and not dead?
Well,
I
first
guess
we
we
never
did
killed
turn him. I guess we did turn him over to the Merkava.
Also, that token was there from before.
No, this one was strategically placed.
Ow.
You guys arrive at the kind of ramshackle cathedral, working your way kind of back in. You no more than enter the door, and you see a ghastly variation of Edward. It's just kind of floating there. In the back, not all the way in the back, but before the pews, you guys can see the that pentacle that's on the ground, the magic circle. You can see it kind of swirling with mist. You no more than enter, and you're greeted with, "It is good to see you, old friends."
That's good, because it's not good to see you.
I go,
Come now.
I don't remember us being friends.
Perhaps. But you're not here for me.
No.
You come to speak with our Lord. He will be with us shortly. Please, make yourselves comfortable. The mist in the back starts to swirl, and out of the mist, you can see kind of skeletal-like figures start to emerge out. They've got something heavy on each of their shoulders as they take step after step. This thing up hoisted high starts to take shape. It seems to be some sort of seat. As it fully comes into view, you see these skeletal warriors carrying like a portable throne. Seated on top is your old dearest friend.
It's literally a palanquin.
They set the throne down and start to move into positions. You see Edward turn his back to you and start floating that way. Our Lord is here. He is ready to receive you. Edward starts to almost mistily phase and blink out of existence. And in his place appears a new vision. From the back. It is good that you have finally made it. It seems when last we left, we were mortal enemies. But I don't believe that has to be the case any longer. It seems we have common purpose, a desire to rid this city from its filth. Shall we dance together and create the graves of our enemies? What say you? He extends his bony-like hand towards you, holding a almost jeweled scepter, awaiting a reply.
Makoto just folds his arms. Stow the pleasantries. What do you want?
A mutual agreement. I won't dare offer you power or wealth. We all know you have no desire for such things, as you're fully competent and capable of acquiring that on your own. But the clerisy, its foul order, must fall.
And what reason do we have to trust that you won't just take their place and engage in the same despotic acts?
You don't. But it would be unwise to approach the clerisy with such few numbers, no intelligence. You would be like lambs to the slaughter. That being said, you've bested me once, have you not? We'll agree, while the clerisy, this stain upon this city, remains, we will do no harm to each other.
Hal,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Hmm. Can I insight check to see if he's bullshitting?
Yeah, you absolutely. Yeah. Echo. Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okie doke. Blind.
Technical error. So, those of you who had made some insight checks, it's difficult to discern 100%. Long lost are his humanoid mannerisms, as it were. Facial features, tells, that sort of thing have just been stripped away like his flesh. But a part of you wants to believe he's at least being halfway truthful.
I don't know. Can you at least guarantee us that those who die in the coming conflicts will stay dead?
Raising the stakes. A barter could be made for those deemed worthy of the right to life.
What?
I was about to say, I don't feel like that answered the question.
I want you to not raise them as necromantic puppets if they die in the coming conflict. That I don't know if that was clear.
Do not treat me like a child. Long have I studied. I am no incompetent.
Okay,
But
Naz looks at the rest and goes, "Is this what talking to me is like?"
actually, yes.
Let me reiterate. I will spare the lives of those you hold precious, and shan't raise a single bone from their body. However, you must earn that right.
And what exactly do you want us to do to earn the right, with big air quotes?
Begin. Initiatives.
Oh,
lovely.
You know how hard it was to resist the urge to just shoot him while he was laughing?
I was really kind of wanting to.
I was waiting
that's what
for
we
it.
did last. That's what we did with what, Kosui?
That's what you do
Yeah.
with everybody, to be
We've
fair.
done that like time and time again. It's almost our calling card.
The
It is kind
skeletal
of fun.
figures start to draw their weapons. The one in the front pulls a great staff before him, waves it, and you can see the magical energies kind of dancing off the tip. However, Makoto, you take the opportunity to act first.
Yeah, well,
Whereas Hal is still very confused as to what the fuck he was talking about.
Scratching his head.
going right here.
I am good at one thing and one thing only: punching things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I am going to lock the thing as well. I forgot. Okay. Have at thee.
Let's just take a nice healthy swing with my big fuck you hammer.
Your maul rings in your hands, and you find flesh.
Did that actually damage correctly? Yes. Cool.
All right.
I didn't actually get targeting.
It
Second swing.
radiates off his body as though it's magically enchanted, shielding him from some of the damage. Anything else? All right.
Missing, apparently.
Indeed, the shock from your hammer as you thought you were just going to wail into this hapless humanoid-like form causes you to miss on your second swing.
What's Maldark doing through all this? Is he just
All right. He's just sitting there on his throne, the mist swirling about him.
really want to shoot him?
You can try. On your turn.
On my turn.
It helps if I start initiative. There we go. Anything else,
Well, that
Makoto?
was my turn.
Okay. Right. The warrior who had drawn his blade rushes forward, targeting Hal. Multi-attack. He swings his spectral longsword in the air, finding purchase for 5 points of force damage. Second attack. A miss. Still having movement left. Enters Hal's form. Ending his turn.
Possess me? The fuck?
As you take another 10 points of force as you're pushed out of his square.
What?
Naz.
That's my square.
Okay, ceilings. How high are there rafters or beams?
Cathedral. It's huge. 60 foot.
Okay. These column things behind us, I'm assuming floor to ceiling?
That is correct. Even the pillars here in the center reach to the ceiling.
Okay. So they will provide, I guess, partial cover,
That is correct.
stuff like that. Any of the enemies have ranged weapons, or are they all just swords?
So you imagine that the Phantom Warriors are all melee. However, there is a caster in the center.
Phantom Warrior 2?
Okay.
Is that the one that I would identify as the caster?
No, the Skull Lord.
Oh, okay. Alright. Well, in that case, I'm going to... I guess pop a shot at the Skull Lord.
All right.
And we'll resolve that first.
The Gunmaker pulls back on the trigger. Roll damage.
About as bad as it could be.
Yeah, but you still find purchase. His magical armor kind of helping absorb some of the impact.
Alright, and then I'm going to finish off my turn by having Droney take me up about 50 feet straight up.
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
aiming for the rafters.
No problem. That brings us to Vic.
Well, I'm new here, so I don't know quite what's going on, but it seems as though we're being attacked.
Indeed.
Naz yells, "Kill the thing!"
Yes, target the thing.
The Skull Lord, you said it was wearing armor?
No, it is not wearing armor. The magical effects of armor.
It seems that it seems to not be getting hurt as much as it should because of some kind of magical armor.
Well, in that case, I'm going to play Atherin's favorite game and drop a silence over him.
Okay. And
Catherine's favorite game.
Is it
Silence the
20
Caster.
feet?
Let me double check, but I believe so. Yes, 20-foot radius.
Okay. And let's do it from... And is that where you want it placed? Right there?
Yep, looks good to me.
All right. Anything else, Vic?
Nobody's been hurt yet, right? Or no, Hal has.
Hal has.
Oh wait, I can't because that was a full action to cast that, so I can't do a spell for that. No, that's it for me.
Okay. And you're staying within the silence field?
For now, yes.
Boris.
Hello.
Eerily quiet.
Eerily quiet, as in check to make sure that I'm out. Never mind.
Well, it's twofold. Sometimes fivefold.
Split. Too quiet, I say, only to realize that nothing comes out of my mouth. I'm going to elect to move up and help Hal.
Very good.
Thank you.
Today I learned my name is Hal.
Help Makoto. I'm good at this, okay?
Wait, you're not Hal?
So many things have changed. This changes everything.
All right. Target.
Surprise! I've been a Kensei this whole time.
A swing and a hit.
Hey. So flashing.
Yo. Sort of pious conviction. You need to add the magic quality to that weapon.
How would one add magic quality?
Asking me rules and stuff. I'll manually
Okay,
adjust it.
so you hit the magnifying glass next to the weapon,
Yes.
and then you got the properties thing, and you've got damage type. I'm assuming he meant damage type.
Properties, damage, type, slashing.
Comma, magic. That's what I assume is point here.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing. That's how I have mine set up.
Am I correct, Catherine?
What, for magic?
About the damage?
Yeah.
Were you talking about the damage type?
Yes. I don't think his
Yeah.
is set to magic.
No, it was just slashing.
Okay.
So it should say slashing, comma, magic.
It now says slashing comma magic.
Perfect.
You're good.
And I am going to manually make an adjustment here once I find it stupid. Okay. Anything else, Boris?
I'm going to detach the massive, heavy, battering ram from my back and just kind of toss it to the side.
Yeah, you just kind of clunk as it slams on the floor.
Well, we don't hear anything.
Well,
Yeah, none of us hear a thing.
so when you
You feel it.
yeah, you unsnap the harness there that you have, and all of a sudden, that's what you hear. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Skull Lord's turn. Although Boris and Makoto are both kind of swinging and occupying some of his time, he still has a moment to bring up his hand, and you see upon his hand a ring. It glows brightly. He disappears reappears back. And then let's do some of this. Boop. And where is it? I know it's here somewhere. I'm sorry. All right. Points his staff in your direction as a chill starts to go over your body.
Yeah.
Thus ending his turn. Warrior 2. Moving into the fray. First swing with his spectral longsword on Makoto. Narrowly missing. Follows it up with another miss. However, with the rest of his movement, he moves into your space. And as you take 6 points of force and are jolted back 5 feet. Okay, that's enough for that. Hal, it is your turn.
I suddenly can't see any of the. Oh no, it's fixed. Okay, cool. All of the tokens disappeared.
Oh no.
I can see them now. He's still within reach of melee weapons, right?
Yeah, you were forced out to next unoccupied square.
Okay, then I'm going to hit him a bunch. So quarterstaff, that's damage dice, not. That's the wrong thing.
Miss.
Damn. All right, swinging again.
A solid strike. All right.
And then I'm gonna unarmed strike him.
Another strike. With the 1-2. Bring in some hurt. Anything else?
That is. I'm going to strafe around him to here to kind of block off the rest of the party.
Okay. And again, as you move into that square, you hear the deafening sound of silence. All right, my turn. Moves up to attack Vic. First swing. Second swing. Can't miss this. For 8 points of force damage as you're pushed back. And sure, not appearing in this film. Oops.
Have we gone a single session without a Monty Python reference?
Probably.
That counts as this one.
Probably not.
No, I think we've referenced it at some point.
Oh, cool. What was that?
Concerned that you rolled a 20 on something on my turn.
It's not your turn. For you go at 19. I need everyone here to make a dexterity save.
Oh, there.
DC 16, except for Naz. You're in the air.
Fucking layer actions.
Whoop.
Is this affected by evasion?
This is not a damaging effect, so no, evasion will not.
Damn.
I'm popping inspiration on this.
Okay.
I'm glad I did.
Indeed.
I do still have inspiration from Ryder.
And I think that's everyone here. So Hal and Oh, Vic made it. So just how? Were you using inspiration? You do not have any. Nah.
I should.
You actually do. For that one write-up, I hadn't popped it on your character.
Yeah, I am gonna use that. Then.
Okay, you may do so. Damn it.
Okay, that's better.
So, as you guys are, in the midst of combat, swinging swords and slinging spells, these shadowy-like hands start to erupt from out of the ground, try to grab at your ankles, but you are all definitely able to avoid it. None more so than the nimble Naz, who's 60 feet away. The constable on his turn is using a dash. He brings one of his weapons to bear and swings. However, the Skull Lord just parries it with his staff. Makoto, it is now your turn.
I love that the console just uses fucking dual wield nightsticks.
He does. Badass beating sticks.
Or would they be like Kali sticks or something?
Kalima. What would you like to do, Makoto?
Is that silence still up?
I don't know why it disappeared. Oh, I know why.
No, I should have made a concentration check anyway, actually, because I did take damage from the shunt.
Okay.
Nope,
so
didn't make it, so it's gone anyway.
Problem solved as the sound of battle just starts to fill your ears. Makoto.
Do I or... Do. I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
What would you like to do, Makoto?
I'm just gonna attack.
Okay. You've got Warrior 3 targeted.
Yep.
A wise choice as you find purchase.
Situation changed pretty significantly in between. Wow. Snake eyes.
It happens, but you damage him nonetheless.
Yeah.
And you follow it up with the 1-2. It's hammer time. Not bad.
That's
13
a little
points
better.
of damage as you kind of smash into his spectral armor. You see it buckle ever so slightly. All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Okay. More longsword attacks. Hal. First one. Oh, he hits. Crap damage. Follows it up with another. Or a miss. Moves into your square. As you take 6 more points of damage. Pushed out. All right. Naz. What do you got going on?
Okay, I'm going to use Droney's full movement speed of 50 to take me right above Skull Lord.
Okay.
Okay, so that's step 1.
Okay.
I'm going to use my my free interact with an item to
Okay.
summon my anvil, which according to rulebooks is 200 pounds, out of my bag, and as soon as I can see it, I cast enlarge to multiply its weight by 8 times to make a 1,600 pound anvil. That's going to drop 15 or 60 feet, which according to my splat calculator is about 128,000 joules of energy about to ram into his face.
Oh my god!
Are you sure this isn't going to just like go through the city floor and like
It probably,
continue going?
legit, probably will.
I'm not sure it wouldn't go through the Earth's mantle.
So, at first, okay, everybody, I got a DM and it says, I'm gonna do something dumb, forewarning. And at first, I was all like,
Do it! Just do it!
Are you now regretting the decision?
and then now, I'm calculating the math. I've come up with a decision. That's it. I've come up with a new damage recipe. Naz,
Yes.
is 24d10 a lot of damage?
Okay, how do I... So I don't have to click 24 times. How do I make 24 d10s?
So grab the... Oh, well, I don't think you can. You're going to have to click 24 times.
Fuck me.
And make sure you
Alright.
make sure you target him.
He is still
Or-
targeted.
Drop it on him. I'll manually adjust it anyways.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Come on, mommy.
A decent amount.
It's not bad. This anvil that you have, any special
broken.
properties on it?
It's made of iron. It's heavy.
So it's just an iron anvil?
Yeah, I'm literally just using the definition of an anvil out of the source book.
Okay. So you would say it's non-magical.
I would.
Does he resist?
Do I need to invest in a magical anvil now?
Magical anvils for dropping on people?
You know what?
Killing coyotes.
You know what? If this is what's going to be done with said magical anvil, I'll chip him.
God, I thought we did dumb things in the other campaign, Peter.
You've never played with me, have you?
This is fantastic.
Okay.
This is how I play casters.
So Naz, small as he may be, kind of drones over there, just kind of nonchalant. I imagine he's singing some sort of odd gnomish tinkering song. Starts pulling things out of his sack. A frog, a bit of bone. Pulls out this anvil, drops it, and as it's falling, casts enlarge on it. It just increases double the size as it slams into the ground. I'm going to give the constable a dexterity save.
Poor constable. Don't fail.
He
Matt.
rolled a 19.
Oh
So
my
as
God.
this anvil comes tumbling down with cat-like grace, he just does like a backflip into a roll out of the way as this anvil just smashes to the ground. You can see this skull lord half phase in and out. Had that been a magical attack, he would have utterly obliterated it.
Oh,
He's-
well, I tried.
Barely hanging on. You can see bits and holes kind of through his incorporeal form, seeing past through the smoke kind of coming out his now large open pores, and his eyes blaze red. Well played, sir. Well played. Take a point of inspiration.
Thank you.
Deserved.
That was fun.
Hey Vic, long shot guess here, but do you know Eldritch Blast?
I do not.
But it's your turn.
Well, that certainly does change what I had planned. Instead of reacting to suddenly being in melee, I am going to pull out my Wand of Magic Missiles and unload into the Skull Lord and see if I can finish it off.
Oh, nice. That is Naz. Shoot the Naz.
Yes, shoot them. Oh, wait, what?
Here, Vic, give me a sec.
I got it.
You got it.
Okay, now to actually find my wand and my stats here.
Roll that beautiful beam damage.
And I am going to use 6 of the 7 charges.
Oh, dang. Just unloads.
Going Gundam laser on him.
Oh, definitely. So I'm trying to remember, it's 3 for level 1, and then that's the first charge, and then each charge adds another level, correct?
That sounds correct, yes.
So then it'd be 8 total darts, I think. Somebody
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll talk.
We'll go with it.
Double check.
Already dying, but I said I was going to use them, so
No
I'm going
problem.
to use them.
You just you lit the end of that Roman candle and just missiles just fly arching around, up and over around the party, finding their mark, just slamming into the skull lore. Just it's trying to phase out of existence as you just keep pelting it, making it fail every single death saving throw. Maybe even in your head you're like, this is for Sobe.
I have no idea why, but this is for Sobe.
Just as you're going. Drew's watching the stream, so that was mostly for him. The Skull Lord just evaporates into smoke. The Phantom Warriors also blink out of existence.
Oh, nice.
Very good. See, I knew you had the power. Come closer. Let us speak.
I know we already knew this, but this guy's a dick.
Yes, I'm getting that feeling.
Quite, you hear the constable say. He kind of wings his tonfa around. He doesn't put them away as he just takes stride after stride forward. What do you guys do? And let me do this. You're unlocked.
Naz is going to go inspect the damage on his anvil and see if it's recoverable. Or if it's now a permanent fixture.
Will, the issue that you have is
it's lodged in
you
the floor?
can, but it's going to take you some time to inspect it because it is no longer on this floor. If you remember, down below, there were other chambers.
You know, where Maldart kept his evil
Naz-
ritual book.
Naz just kind of shrugs.
Congratulations, you destroyed Lady Lady Astul's old life support.
Lol.
Very good. That's exactly where I was going with that. All right. I imagine most of you guys start to move forward.
Yeah.
Mikoto's still got his maul summoned.
Yes, come closer.
If he looks like he starts to cast a spell, I am diving at him and punching.
Duly noted.
Gather
Same for me,
round.
except with the silence spell as a reaction.
Also duly noted.
Come.
Naz is going to take this time to reload his rifle.
Noted. as you guys all gather around him. First steps. Now we can work together. You have my vow. None of those who you deem worthy shall be risen to join my army. Shall we talk of plans and schemes?
I mostly assume that's what you mostly talking. The store.
What was that?
I had a thing in my head and then it came out jumbled, and I don't feel like going back to it.
Okay. Boris is lost for words.
Exactly.
What do you know about the leadership of the clerisy?
Mind players?
Indeed. Do you know how to kill one?
I imagine hitting them very hard would work.
That's assuming you can get close enough. Do you know where the lair is?
For questions after we do, right?
You have an idea where it is?
Didn't Isao tell us?
He
Where
told
the
you
kids
it was
were taken?
within the clerisy. But there's a difference between kind of like, yeah, it's down there on the street, and you're like, oh yeah, it's on the corner of da-da-da, you know, with the red.
I mean, I could take a guess and say it's probably within their main cathedral.
Deep underground, these creatures have fled. Fallen from the stars they have, looking for their way back home.
Well, if you want a quick and dirty way to do it, perhaps we should poison all the children of the city so that their brains poison the mind flayers in turn.
Do you know how often they consume?
Nope.
I thought not. They would wait us all out. We would kill every last morsel within the city before they would ever go hungry. Do you know?
So that's kind of a fucked up way of taking care of them.
I didn't say I was going to do it, I just said it was a quick and dirty way to do it.
Another quick and dirty way would be having our friend, our lovely friend, the Raven Queen, do a tactical nuke from orbit.
I like this idea.
You think she would lift a finger?
I mean, she did tell us that she would lift a finger. In fact, enough of a finger to level the entire city, so...
Your beloved
yes.
queen has already failed. Do you know how I know this?
No.
I've got to be honest, I'm not sure I care.
I will tell you after this 10-minute break. Let's go ahead and take 10. Do what you need, and then we'll continue the him talking and you guys ignoring him when we get back.
I mean, I'm listening.
Oh, I know.
I'm just not sure I care.
Fair enough.
You have to hear what he's saying in order to come up with witty repartee.
Exactly.
That is true. And we'll get back to the repartee here in 10 minutes. I am back. I was not expecting that anvil drop.
You're welcome.
Good on you,
That's what I'm
mate.
here for.
That was fantastic.
Like
It
this
just-
seemed like
it-
it was gonna be a serious fight, with emotions running wild, and then anvil.
Right?
It just
Wile E.
like
Coyote
I
comes by.
was literally just thumbing through my character sheet, thinking I'm really bored of shooting things with a rifle. What is something that Naz would do with what he has in front of him? Oh, that.
Nailed it. All
Now we
right.
just have to see about getting you a magic anvil.
Hey man, I'm in. I will help pay for a magic anvil.
I could just imagine us like walking up to a magical artisan. I need a magic anvil. Oh, are you trying to craft, the most magical trinkets and whatnot?
No,
it's
trying to
drop on
overcome
people.
damage resistance.
I'm just gonna drop it.
We're gonna drop it on some ghosts.
I'm gonna go Looney Tunes on their ass.
Basically, I'm waiting for the portable hole to make an appearance.
You haven't given me one yet. I still want
Oh,
one.
it's added to the loot pool.
Like I specifically asked for one. I do recall this conversation.
Oh, I know.
No, big thunderstorm rolling in. I might lose
I
my one
mean,
here.
should it come up in conversation,
Also-
I do have one I'm not using.
Also, God damn it, Peter. God damn it, Maddie.
What?
The Illithid are moon wizards.
See, I told you they existed, just the wrong
Fuck
name.
you.
All
Be
right.
gone, moon thought.
Is everybody back?
Yes, for
I think
now.
so.
As I said, there's a
And
big fucking storm rolling
yeah,
in.
thanks for the forewarning. If you disappear, we'll know that you're carried away and drifting down the river again.
Quite literally this time.
All right. So, you guys have a conversation with Maldark, and he seems to want to be helpful, at least as long as your guys' goals line up. He has agreed in his assistance to not interfere with the Fallen. And what was he going to tell you after the 10-minute break?
Something.
About the Raven Queen failing.
That is correct.
She has already failed once. And how do I know this? I was the first option. Before you, interlopers. You see, she's already played her most powerful cards. Brothers and sisters, where are they now?
That wasn't rhetorical.
Oh.
Damn it, Peter.
Sorry. Probably. Is that the ones you're talking? Like the monk people whose asses we handed to them?
Not his brothers and sisters, the
Oh.
Raven Queens.
Oh. Oh.
Raven Queens?
I mean, she was trying to kill them.
Was she now?
She was fighting them.
And what
I
do
don't
you do
think
in
she
your
was.
family?
Not try to kill each other?
Such
It's this new
boring
thing.
lives of mortals. No. Defense. Trying to rectify a situation that went akimbo because of you. She played right into the Nagpa's hands. Well, it seems they've taken opportunity to collect her dear, dear family. Come across one. I may have.
And did you make a deal with it as well?
Not the Nakba.
Oh, one of the
The
collective.
moon.
Ooh. For clarification, which moon?
The great immortal god. Tsukiyomi.
Okay, thank you.
Where is she?
An answer you could have. But as we're working together, what of my benefit?
Your benefit at the end of the day is that we get the gods back. And they don't come after you next. You heathen.
Do the gods' grace not affect us all?
If you're asking if the kami affect me on my daily day-to-day, I've just found out about them about 3 weeks ago. So, no, they do not.
Makoto's just gonna hold his sword right up to Maldark's neck. Stop.
I will give you something, but I look for something in return. I'll even sweeten the pot. The Nagpa, collectors of old antiquities. Knowledge is long lost. They have something I desire. If you promise to bring it to me, not only will I lead you to His Exaltedness Tsukiyomi, but I shall not lay a finger, affect one life in Tantibus for 100 years.
That's not a terrible
I
deal.
was just about to say, that's not a terrible deal.
The only condition I will add is that you have to tell us what it is first.
Agreed.
Everybody good with this?
Sounds like a good deal.
Well, I'm a bit new here, but if I can interject, I do feel as though any sort of arrangement probably has ulterior motives. I'm sure something that he's wanting would allow to rearrange pieces on the chessboard, as it were, so that even in 100 years he can exact plans against the city.
I'm going to. This is the point where I'm going to point out that Makoto hasn't lowered his sword, and B, his other fist is clenched hard. Someone might want to do something about that. Fair warning.
I will tell you this item. It is the primer of the fallen first. A book
Do I have
of note. More of a metal tablet. You will know
Characters an iPad.
of the item I seek Upon sight, it is made of no known metal on this plane. As for this one's concerns, not entirely unwarranted. But you shall have 100 years to try to stop me.
100 years? Are you going to guarantee that somehow? I'm only gonna live till I'm 30. If not.
Perhaps you and your kin shall take up such quest.
See, that's why wording's important. Boris is going to say as he puts a hand on Makoto's shoulder.
Makoto just sighs and dismisses his sword.
Do we have an accord?
Look at everybody. Yes, no. Nod.
I think so.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Well, I'm something of a guest, so it's not really up to me.
Then,
This is the best bit at the moment.
yeah, then I guess we do have an accord.
You see him almost kind of look up in this unholy isn't the exact word, but just almost ecstasy as he's
Good. Tsukuyomi has been trapped. His power encased in a magical mirror. His reflection still grants the moon some power. For how long, I cannot say. You must find this mirror and a way to break it. Break its foul power. But I will set you in the right direction. The Nagba have places both within the city and not at the same time. There are some who have the power to travel between planes. Seek out the Vistani Hoa. She will guide you. They know more than they're willing to part with.
A silence fills the chamber.
Are we done here?
I think we're done.
Yes, I think quite. Next time we meet, we will not be enemies. I have quite the power within the city. Look for my agents to guide and assist you.
All right. Anybody gonna drop an anvil on his head?
It's
No.
very tempting.
I used it up.
All right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I hope next time we can actually meet in person.
As he materializes out. For he was
Yeah.
never here.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, same.
Unsurprising. Cowardly, but unsurprising.
Won't be
I
the
mean,
first.
that is like the third time he's done exactly that. So
Yeah.
You can hear the constable under his breath. Fuck, 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 fuck. This is not good.
nope.
Too many enemies, too many friends.
Yep.
Well, if you need someone on the outside, it's not as though I've agreed to anything.
I see.
Very true. Vic, there is a woman who works at the museum in the city. I've set her to looking for an object that has gone missing, I think, from the museum. I think it holds the key to that one's power. Just
I'll
so
see
you're
what I can
aware.
do.
She'll come and talk to us at some point, but if you will pass along any word of this that comes up.
As you guys are conversing, floating in through the back, through the entrance of the church, you see a small paper butterfly. It floats to and fro and lands on the constable's shoulder. He grabs it, reads the note, and it says, does he read it out loud? He takes a moment, looks over towards Vic. I think I finally got your message.
Better late than never, I suppose.
Perhaps this is a good omen.
A good omen and a foul place, to be sure.
We could use a little luck. Oh, hi, Richter. I didn't see you pop in.
Hi.
That reminds me, Vic.
Yes?
Has Haley's managed to bag any more Nagpa since our last excursion together?
Unfortunately not, though we have grown a bit closer into figuring out what they're after, at least.
Do you guys want to retire back to the manor? Probably
Yeah,
inform your
we
companions
should,
of what
yeah.
happened. That way we can get Shizuka in. So you guys walk through the city, back to the manor. And does anybody want to give Shizuka a quick recap?
Naz did Naz things on a ghost.
Shizuka just adopts the whole concerned pose.
As well, she should.
You want to take this one, Hal? I need a drink.
Basically, we talked with the constable. Then we received a message from somebody, and the message was from Maldark. So we went to see
Message
him.
was delivered by a ghost, by the way.
Message was delivered by a ghost. A ghost delivered a message from Maldark. So we went to the church where we found his like evil melty book of death rituals and such.
No, not that one.
We went to the church where he had been under which he had been keeping Zenra, and where we beat the Lord Dude, who was the leader of the Crows. We beat up some of his undead as a test, and then made a deal that he would not interfere with us if we take care of the Mind Flayer issue, as well as if we retrieve a weird tome book thing from the Nagpa. He also gave us information on the location of Tsukuyomi.
Wait, so you made a deal with them?
In return, he is not going to raise anybody in, create any undead of the people of Tantibus, and will not interfere at all with Tantibus for the next 100 years.
Makoto finishes downing a drink.
And,
So-
Those words rang especially hollow.
and you
Yeah.
took his offer. Why?
Because
he
we
also
have too many enemies right now.
and he also offered to give assistance, not only in information, but he said his agents will be helping direct you and assisting directly.
We took the offer because currently we're fighting on too many fronts. If we were to fight Maldark, the Nagpa, the by the way, I assume we're in the anti-scrying.
Yeah, that was my assumption
the
as
room of
well.
privacy. So
Tone of silence.
if we have to fight the Nagpa and Maldark and his minions, and the clerisy, or rather those who run the clerisy from behind the scenes, and our only ally right now is the kind folks at the circus and Constable Groshenko's men.
Not to mention whatever
We
the
don't
hell's going
have
on.
the numbers.
Not to mention whatever the hell's going on out at sea.
Yeah, we have too many fronts to fight on. We have to eliminate some of those fronts, and if we have to make a deal with that bastard to do it, we'll do it. And when we're finally done setting things right in this city, we go and find him, kill him again, and destroy his fucking phylactery.
Shizuka's face isn't. I posted it in the chat.
Indeed.
Don't get me wrong, I don't expect him to hold his end of the bargain for a fucking second.
So then,
But this buys us time.
concede.
We don't kill him, he doesn't kill us. If we can bring him something, he'll stay out of the way of Tantibus for 100 years. I'm sure he might break his word, but as long as we're potentially working in his best interest, he won't interfere. So it gives us time to fight the Nagpa, to fight the Clerisy, or the Mind Flayers, whatever the fuck. It gives us time to fight battles on other fronts, while we pretend, or at least make appearances of working towards the goals he has given us. He provides support for us. We try to get the gods back to their rightful places. It's a terrible deal.
Mutual gain, supposedly.
He never once said that you guys couldn't interfere and try to take his piece off the board once he got what he wanted, while you guys were still working together. That was never a part of the arrangement.
He expressly said that once he gets what he wants, we can do whatever the hell we want to him.
Almost as a taunt, really.
It was. Oh yeah, it was a taunt. But no, it's mutual ignorance. We ignore each other for the time being. We help him, he helps us, if necessary. It buys us time, and honestly, that's what we need right now, is time to take care of other things.
Okay.
Because he's not the biggest threat. The city is at war with itself. Children are being swept away and eaten by monsters. We have to prioritize.
You said this room was secure, correct?
Against forms of magical sight, I mean, somebody powerful enough could probably break it, but then they already knew what we were doing anyway, so yes.
Correct. As you look along the walls, you can see the arcane runes that have been inscribed. It seems to be very secure, very magical in this place.
Well, then I do have a bit of pertinent information I can safely share. Our mutual friend Kiev and his ilk are being misled potentially by the Nagpa, so take with a grain of salt. any information you get from him.
Well, at the very least, Kiev is on the upright, at least about some things. He's the one who told us about the hive of mind flayers. In not so many words.
Why would he?
Oh, I don't doubt that his intentions are pure, but I believe the information he has leads him into misdirection.
It's good to know.
That still doesn't add up. His information led us to the Nagpa. Why would they mislead him to themselves?
Perhaps they were unafraid of being discovered, but I can tell you that Kiev's information led us on the path to kill a god, so I don't believe that was his intention when he gave us the information he did.
Oh, okay, you need to tell us which
Yeah,
kami.
hard
now.
stop.
Yeah.
Hold up.
All eyes on Vic
Hold up.
in
Wait
the
a
room.
minute.
The consul, as he chokes on his drink, you hear a piece of ice just launch across the room, kind of shatter and slide. All eyes are on you, Vic.
Well, I'm not altogether familiar with the kami, but it's my understanding that it is either the one referred to as Mother or the Raven Queen herself.
Amaterasu.
Wait,
I believe that could be the one, yes.
Wait.
Who called the kami mother? Was it Cassian?
Caspian, yes.
Caspian.
It's Amaterasu then.
It's definitely Amaterasu.
wait, you killed the sun?
We didn't kill her.
No.
I said he set us on the path to.
It's not something Kiev would intentionally do. He knows the repercussions that would happen if that came to pass.
He told us that she was a drug peddler that had come into the city and the Order of the Eye wanted in, and she had cut them out, so we were to take care of her.
This.
Wait, so she was trapped inside of a body, then? A person?
I don't know if trapped is the right word. When we met with her, she didn't seem to be under duress or anything, but she was in humanoid guise.
To her.
Interesting.
Is it possible for you to take us to her?
Well, I am technically a bodyguard for her estate, so I don't see why not.
That would be most helpful.
It would.
To see one of them still standing, and the Nagpa have not yet died. Is that correct?
Peter, technically we know Susanoo still lives. He's just stoned right now.
What? Still, like, I said still, like, functional, not, like, alive, like, not captured. I'm asking if she is not captured by the Nagpa.
That would certainly seem to be the impression I got.
So, all of the gods we've encountered so far, at least the two that we know of, if we assume we can trust Maldark's information, Tsukiyomi is trapped in a mirror, a reflection, so to speak. So a god who is represented as light from the moon is trapped in a reflection of that light. Susanoo,
is trapped
god of the
beneath
sea,
waves.
is trapped beneath the waves, encased in magical ice.
Oh, so
They're being trapped by their opposite, I think, some kind of crystal, but the closest crystal you can come up with is ice. It's the closest to him, but it's also his opposite. So a reflection is the opposite of emanating light. ice is, in some regards, an opposite of water. Amaterasu, god of the sun. And what else? Anybody?
Have you found Tsukiyomi?
Tsukiyomi,
Maldark.
Maldark knows that Tsukiyomi is trapped in another plane because of a mirror. Essentially, a mirror of our plane. I'm not sure which one. Or if it is a specific one, it could be a pocket mirror dimension. Unclear. What do we know of Amaterasu? It could be that the body of this woman is the vessel in which she is trapped.
Or she wasn't trapped yet and she's simply hiding.
Very possible. Very, very possible. If nothing else, guard her well. We can't afford for another deity to fall into the hands of the Nagpa.
And I mean, if you want to speak with her and ask her yourself, you could answer the question quite easily.
Very, very good. That would help, I think.
I didn't hear half of that, Hal.
Oh, yes. I just said yes, that would probably be helpful.
All of this is too much for Naz as he retires off to his tinkering room and just lays down.
Something like that.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yep. See you guys later.
See you, man. Yeah, I do think it would help to speak with her.
Well then, shall I take you there?
Yes, I think so. Would the rest of you? I assume you're coming.
Yes, I'm coming for this.
Yeah.
I spent a good part of the day just staring at a wall.
All right. So, Vic leads you across the city into the across the city, across the Noble District. You're so the Tenyo, you're gonna pass all the kind of encampment and the battle readiness of the Merkaba. And as you move further west within the city, you can see another great manor. It is super late at night. Did you guys want to rest before that? Or was it so pressing that you wanted to go? Again, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning equivalent.
I think it's pressing that we needed to run out. At least that's what I'd say.
I'm fine either way. I do not need to rest right now. Magic ring make me heal.
I would suggest that 3 or 4 in the morning would actually be a more opportune time to have this conversation unnoticed by watching eyes.
Okay.
True.
So it sounds like the decision has been made. You guys traipse across the city. The Merkaba still working well into the night, preparing for the what they presume is going to be some sort of siege to come. You make your way to the Great Manor. Not a lot of activity going on outside. However, there are 2 guards posted. And as I had described to Vic earlier, they're dressed in almost garb that's similar to where you guys hailed from Dynast. However, even on inspection, you can notice the slight differences. They've got lamellar type armor covered in the cloth, and you can see a sigil hanging off of where one would essentially hang a cloak from. You see the moan of a scorpion As you guys approach, they immediately stop you. Isn't it a little late at night? What's your business here?
Actually, it's quite early in the morning, really.
I let Vic do the talking.
Do you really want to argue semantics? Shouldn't you be inside guarding?
Yes, well, these are esteemed guests of the lady, and I came to escort them to the premises.
Isn't it a little late at night?
It's not for me to question.
They kind of look at each other. Go on then, as they open up the gate. You guys can see, again, the moonlight, although it's kind of dimmed down, you can see the well-sculpted topiaries, the nice laden path. Outside, you see a carriage that's been set there. Horses been placed in their stables. You make it past the second set of guards. A few moments later, you hear some footsteps coming down from the second story. You see a man in a very fine silken kimono. It is black with red accents. You can see as he's kind of winding down these steps, the giant moan of a great scorpion on its back. He's got his daisho at his hip. His hair is pulled back, high and tight in a top knot, a bogu. Vic, was it? Who are these?
Allies in the coming fight.
He eyes you, looking down his nose. Allies, you say? He takes a few steps forward. You can see that he's got some sort of odd kind of sandal on. He does a very slight bow. My name is Mitsukage. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Unfortunately, the lady is a bit preoccupied. If you wouldn't mind waiting in the side room, once she's concluded her business, I will send for you. Is this agreeable?
That sounds good.
Seems fine to me.
All right, so you guys head over to that kind of antechamber. You can see lots of shoes and the sort have been placed away. You can see some spare, almost like sandals that are there. Vic, you've been in and out of this place well enough to know that there's absolutely no sort of foot traffic on these floors. So you would kind of clue them in that they need to take off their metal boots or whatever sort of accoutrement they have on.
I'm also going to eye the collection of shoes and see if it looks like there's anything new, to see if maybe she has a guest tonight.
Very good. As you look over them, again, you're in the noble sort of area, and you can tell the class of a person a lot of time by their footwear. You see a pair of immaculate bots, just dyed a deep, dark black, emblazoned with gold and silver. A rich man's shoes.
I don't suppose I've seen any shoes like this before, have I?
Nothing that fancy. You imagine those boots probably cost a nobleman a small manor. Not literally, but...
They're too nice to be warm.
And the carriage outside was not the same one that we had seen leaving when we first arrived here.
It was
a different
indeed
one.
the same carriage.
Oh, it was.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps the lady has a late night courtier. Minutes roll by. 15, 20, 30. About 40 minutes pass as Mitsukage comes down. If you will follow me, I believe everything is in order. He leads you up the great set of stairs into a small antechamber. A very low table is set. Small pillows placed within the room as he slides the paper door shut and kneels Seiza style. Places his hand before him. Please have a seat. I don't know if you guys have anything open, but I'm gonna open a just an image so we can drop some tokens here. And let's do, just because it's handy. It's gonna be Kiev's shop, but it's just handy.
As I sit down, I am making sure that the ring on the dresser's gift is clearly visible to anybody sitting across.
Duly noted. And
But I'm not going to mention it. I'm just going to see if it's commented upon.
very
or
good.
If it's like noted, recognized.
After a few moments, Mitsukage stands up. He, of course, offers you any sort of refreshments. There's some odd, almost like a rice liqueur out. A few small things to nibble on. He goes over to a large wall scroll and touches a few points on it. And the scroll basically just kind of disappears, showing that it was indeed a false wall. And stepping out through the opening, you see a gorgeous woman just radiating light. Does everybody have that open so I can drop a token?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oops, and we'll make it large. She's dressed in a very fine silk kimono, hair done up, face white as snow, light makeup, bright red lipstick, just silver and gold adorning her hair, just the epitome of beauty. But that's not what is captivating you. It's almost like a gentle, radiant light that is exuding out of every fiber of her being. She shuffles into the room, sits Seiza style, fans her face for a moment. She looks at Shizuka, then turns to Makoto, turns to Hal. I sense celestial offerings. You two. There's no need for pretense here. I feel Inari's blessing upon you. May we speak as friends.
And Shizuko
Seems
will
fair
nod,
to me.
just rubbing the back of her head and just revealing her ears.
Yep.
Very good. I see my veiled message found its way. And she will nod over to you, Vic. What brings you here, my children?
Concern, mostly.
Concern over me?
Taxes, impending doom.
Yes. After your conflict I want to say bridge, it's not a bridge, but up on
The
after
arch?
conflict, yeah. After your conflict on the arch, we have yet to find. We were all worried on your fates after the clash. Thankfully, we were able to ascertain where your brother and where Susanoo and Tsukiyomi are, And we had just recently learned of your location, so this is mostly out of concern for your well-being.
She raises her right eyebrow. Oh, you know how it is. Families. Always playful fighting.
This doesn't seem very playful.
The concern is less with the fighting that occurred between you and more with the fighting that may be in your future. As of present, we know at least 2 of your siblings are trapped, held captive by the magpie.
She smiles, brings her hand up to cover her mouth as she lets out a small laugh. Oh, wayward children. You speak of my children.
Oh, yeah, that's my bad. I'm not good at the...
No.
That's an
You
out-of-character.
probably would be taken aback.
By how casual.
Oh, yeah.
What can I say? And Setsu, though she tries to be the stronger older sister to her siblings. Poor Kosui loses his way, always stumbling around in the dark, reaching for stars he can't quite reach. It is unfortunate, for our 2 great stars have been lost. Even the mighty sea, though it sways and rocks, is without protection.
Shizuka looks particularly down at that.
Fear not, little one. I have come to make sure all is set in the right motion.
Huh? Wait, you have? Then she actually sits a bit straighter and looks more intent at that.
A great many things is going on within Valoris, within Tantibus, but unrest is happening all throughout the countryside. Things have been set in motion that have been in motion since the beginning, yet have happened and will happen. It's difficult to explain. Is anyone confused on who she is?
I'm good.
That is a Matarasu, right? Or am I being dumb?
I don't know. Who do you guys think it is? We got one for Amaterasu.
Well, because according to Vic, Caspian referred to this person, or unless I'm completely misunderstanding this, as this person as their mother. And her, at least how Shizuka knows that she refers to, that Caspian refers to Amaterasu as his mother.
Well,
So-
but it's not Amaterasu because she just said that Susanoo and Getsu
And Setsu.
and Setsu are her children.
So
then she's the mother.
she looks in at all of you. I
And then
am
she
not.
starts thinking,
He's a nod.
Shizuka actually looks like, wait, Lady Izanami?
She smiles and says, I am not the fiery one. My name is